Hi, Vicky. I'm Ezelle from the upcoming It's Lovely to Meet You, and congratulations on this fantastic series. So perhaps I could start. I know it's based on the book of the same name by Sarah Pinsborough. So can you tell us a little bit about what Insomnia series is all about? What can viewers expect when they jump into this?
So you'll meet the Avril family, which is myself and Tom Cullen and the two kids, India and Smiley. And basically, you think everything's all right. There's an element of, what is a functional family, and Emma's a lawyer. She's on her way up in through the ranks in the firm. And then we can very quickly discover that there is this disruption with her sleep. It's only really when Leanne Best, who plays my sister Phoebe, comes into the fold again that there's a problem, and her mother's back in her life. And that is what sort of sparks this instant concern as to why she's having trouble sleeping. Something that happened to them when they were younger starts to surface. And I mean, there is so many strands to this show. It's not just all about the lack of sleep. So yeah, there's plenty to go on with, but I think that's a good starting point.
It is, and obviously you've tackled a lot of gritty kind of central roles with Broadchurch, Line of Duty, and you must get offered a lot of roles and scripts yourself. But what was it in particular about the character of Emma and this script that made you want to come on board with this?
I mean, you kind of, I do read a lot of scripts. I think because of having my own production company now, there's a lot more reading than I've ever done. And so I get to see lots of different variety of work. I get to see people that are really established writers to people that have just started writing so I get to see a real variation. And I feel like I can spot when there's a really good hook or a really good characterful piece. And with this, it was Sarah's an incredible writer, not only as a novelist, but her script was really characterful. I could see what I'd want to do with it. I think sometimes with certain scripts, I kind of think, well, I'm not sure how I could enhance that, or is that something that people have seen me do before? And so this was, for me, was one of those shows where I thought I'd really like to watch it myself. It's one of those kind of shows. And that always tends to mean that, I'll be invested in wanting to make it. And I really sort of enjoyed what she was doing with Emma. I mean, she was turning 40, I was turning 40. Sometimes I'll go, oh, that's a sign. She's got a sort of very tricky relationship with her sister, but I have a really amazing relationship with my sister. But even so, I think just the fact that there was a really strong connection between that sibling relationship, I liked that. And all in all, I was just everything that came about with that job when it was sent to me, and who was directing it and who was shooting it. And, it came about very easily, which is a good sign.
And obviously, like you said, it's very the central sort of theme running through it is the insomnia. I mean, to prepare to play that kind of role as Emma going through that, I mean, did you sort of look at any case studies? How did you do your research for that? Because you play it so beautifully, so with such authenticity. So
Oh, thank you. I mean, look, we all start with a Google search. Rightly or wrongly, there's a lot on there to delve into. So, there's that. There's always the writing. You've got to take the interpretation of the writer. And Sarah's imagination is so wild that you're going, well, this is the world in which she's creating. What I think is, important to point out about people that do suffer with insomnia is it's so varied for everyone. They have different sort of scenarios. It's not one size fits all. And actually, there was somebody that I knew at the time who was suffering with insomnia. So I was able to speak to her, and just obviously it's frustrating when you're lying in bed and you just cannot relax and you can't switch off. And, as much as you try all kinds of theories and, put on whale music or whatever it is that gets you to sleep or tries to get you to sleep, it's the daytime, and it's the fact that you then can't function at work, or you can't function in a relationship, or you can't even driving. It's like whatever it may be, if you've had deprived sleep, you really know about it in your day-to-day life. And so we spent a lot of time making sure that we could see that disruption, because there's plenty of us sort of, me sort of struggling to get to sleep in bed, but actually so much of the show is surrounding that day-to-day life with Emma. And then it's really when the nighttime comes, that's when the scary stuff starts to happen.
And I mean, there are so many horror elements to this. I mean, there's sort of little nods to like The Omen and like Gothica, and you sort of pick little pieces apart. You're like, oh my God, the panic. So, what were some of your sort of favourite scenes that you filmed in this? And are you kind of a fan of horror yourself anyway?
It's not going to be my first genre to go to because I can be a bit of a scaredy cat, but I think I like making. I've always liked making people jump. And I kind of I quite like it myself, that kind of, playful, there's no harm in it, no one's going to get hurt kind of vibes. That I don't mind, but anything further than that, oh no, forget it. But I do think that it was clever the way in which Sarah's written it and the way that Burke has directed it, because you do kind of feel like you're in quite a domestic drama. Then all of a sudden it feels like it's really switched. And that's down to lots of clever camera work and direction and writing and all that kind of stuff. So not something I've done a lot of, and that's great. I love a bit of variety.
And what was it like working with such a brilliant ensemble cast? I mean, obviously you mentioned Leanne Best as your sister, and her being the trigger point for then the story unfolding. So that kind of sibling relationship, and also your husband, Tom Cullen, and then this family. What was it like working with them?
It was brilliant. And what we had the house scenes, and we actually stayed at this, well, we didn't stay there, but we was at this house location for 6 weeks, so it eventually does start to feel quite homey, and the way in which they designed everybody's bedrooms, and it was just, there was so much detail was put into it. So I think once we got to the house, it felt like the family had really formed. Tom is a lovely guy. The kids were amazing. India, who's definitely not a kid anymore, but she was incredible. Everybody got on very well. Everyone was just really enjoying as well, just collaborating, and we were all kind of encouraged to, make what we wanted to make with the characters. And Smiley especially, bless him, he's a brilliant budding young actor. He's a triple threat as well. He's an amazing dancer, amazing singer. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see much more of him. And India's off doing massive jobs. So yeah, she's got another bright future ahead of her.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say that about them. And thank you so much for speaking to me.
Not at
It's a
all.
wonderful series. I hope everyone enjoys it as much as me. And thank you so much
I
for your
hope
time.
so. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Take care.